Hello guys, in this tutorial we're gonna learn about the basics of what classes are and how they are used in video games. So we're gonna talk about that, and this is like something for beginners, so you can have problems using classes. Like it's something very simple, but some people maybe can do mistakes. So we're gonna learn about that. So what is a class in a video game? Like a class in a video game is easy to think like something in real life. Like for example, we have humans, and humans are a class, and we have cars, and cars are another class. It's another class. So we have airplanes, an airplane is another class. So those are classes, and for example there is like we have a car, right? And the car is a class, and there is different type of cars. Like they have different colors, they have different engines. So the same happen with humans, right? So we're gonna create we're gonna have only one class, and we're gonna change that class. We're gonna make it that he's different, like he's gonna change randomly. So it's like a very good way to understand what a class is. So the first thing, like if we play here, like this is gonna be like the player type, because we're gonna create like different types, right? So this class is gonna change. So the first thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna create an enum. If you don't know what enumeration is, it's similar to a string. Like they contain words, but enum is like a list. Like it contains like different words. So this is gonna be called player type. So I'm gonna create I think this is gonna be like player. It's gonna be like enemy 1. This is gonna be enemy 2. This is gonna be boss. You can set a description if you want. I'm gonna add this is our player character, that when we click start and we spawn here, this is it, like default pawn class. So we click here in this icon and it's gonna be located. So we access the character, and so okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is that we're gonna create a variable that it's an enumeration. It's gonna be player type. It's gonna be just type. Makes more sense, I think. So here in enum you're gonna look for player type. We compile, and here we have all the options. This was wrong spelled. Okay, so now what we are gonna do is the default setting for this variable is gonna be player. So it's gonna be the player that we have. So also I'm gonna create variables that I'm gonna create a variable. Let's call it can change. It's gonna be a boolean. If you don't know what a boolean is, it's just it has two values, right? Like false and true. So you're gonna be able to execute two events or just one event from that variable. So this is gonna be instance editable. What this means? This means that you're gonna be able to place this in the world, in the scene, and you can change this variable depending like only is gonna depend on, only is gonna change in the actor that you select. So the begin play, like we're gonna create this, and if this is true, we're gonna change this variable randomly. So we are gonna click on switch on player type, because like this is called player type. So this is a switch statement, but if we search for switch on player type, it's gonna create everything for us, like here. So now first we're gonna create a change on integer. Gonna create, like, we're gonna add pins. So we have like 4 options, so we're gonna add 4. 1 2 3 4, and we are gonna search for random integer in range, and we're gonna put 3 because 0 is 1, so it's 0 1 2 3, and in total they are 4. So we click here. This can change, like we're gonna set this randomly, so the type is gonna change. Like if it's 0, it's gonna change to player. If it's 1, it's gonna change to enemy 1. If it's 2, it's gonna change to enemy 2, and if it's 3, it's gonna change to boss. So right now we don't have like a way to test this, but we're gonna change the first. We're gonna change the color of the player depending of the type of the player. So I'm gonna create a function. It's gonna be called change color. And here we're gonna set the, like, first we're gonna create an instance. We can do this in the begin play. So we select our mesh from the player, create dynamic material instance, and we're gonna create like a reference from that variable. So we're gonna put the index of the material. So the material that we want to change is body. It's gonna be this, and inside body we have this variable, and this variable can be changed in Blueprint. So this is called body color. So here we're gonna set 0, and we're gonna promote variable. It's gonna be called material instance. So now we can change our color here. So it's gonna change depending of the type. So in player he's not gonna change, so only is gonna change like in enemy 1, for example. So set vector parameter value. This is gonna change like the color, and we set body color. That was the name, yeah, body color. So enemy 1's gonna be like let's say yellow. Enemy 2 is gonna be red, maybe pink, and boss is gonna be red. So now this is gonna change the character depending of the type of the pawn. So if we click play, it's not gonna change anything, and we need to call the function also. So we're gonna change it first we need to set the type. So we're gonna create a sequence here, and here we're gonna add a delay. We're gonna set change color. So now we're gonna place our character. So we're gonna set here can't change. We're gonna set that variable. I'm gonna place him randomly. I think I'm gonna create a lot of these guys so you can see the change. Let's see. Okay, so there is a type. This is like I think enemy 1, this is enemy 2, and this is the boss. So like you see, they are changing randomly, and we're using the same class. Like it's not changing. I'm not creating a new class or anything. It's just one class, and they are changing. So you can also use like change, like for example, if you are making an AI, like for example, like they do different damage or they take less damage depending of those variables. Like for example, you have the enemy class, but that enemy can be level 1 or level 10, like he can be more powerful. So now we're gonna change now also the size. Like enemy 1 is gonna be like the same size. I mean, we're gonna change this like just like set type instead of change color, and we're gonna change the size here. So we're gonna use set actor scale 3D. It's gonna be 2. I mean, you need to see what is default. It needs to be I think 1. Yeah, it's gonna be 2, and this is gonna be 5. So here in targets is saying self because the target is an actor, so this is an actor, we are an actor, so it's changing just the actor. You can also change like the size for components, and this will be like set word scale or set relative scale. So let's see what happened now with change. So yeah, look that. I mean, they don't change the color, I don't know why. I think because it was, yeah, they were set to player. Okay, now they change. Okay, he's like he's like overlapping. So this is like enemy level 2. He's right. I think we can change that like so we are gonna do that the actor go up. So we're gonna set actor location, get actor location. We are gonna split stroke, make vector. So only is gonna change the C. So we are gonna plus this value. I don't know, maybe I'm gonna test 10 maybe. Click here. So this is only gonna change like the location when it's set to boss. I mean, yeah, it works. I think can be less. Maybe the size can be less. And here can be 5. I think, yeah, I think it's better. So this is enemy 1. This is the same as me, like the white one. let's say this is a good player, a good character, a good intelligence, artificial intelligence, and this is our the bad boys, right? So this is the boss. It's pretty buggy, right, because of the location, but at least he's not overlapping. I mean, he's overlapping because probably he got blocked by the other. Ah, no, they are all bosses. It's like a problem with collisions, so maybe if I set this to 10, like now this is enemy level 1. I think 10 is right. So this is enemy level 2, level 1. Okay, so now we are gonna change, like we're gonna see another way to set the player type, because here we're gonna set just a value randomly when they spawn. So we're gonna set like the setting when we spawn inside Blueprint. So I'm gonna delete this voice, and you're gonna, I mean, what is a good location? I'm just gonna set like a random we can create like a blueprint to set a position. So I'm gonna create just an actor. We're on now we can create like target point. So here we're gonna do like a timer. So in 10 seconds or 5 seconds we're gonna spawn the player that we want. So we're gonna set here spawn actor, we're gonna set dear person character, so we are gonna set like we're gonna get like the location of this target point. So when you create something, like when there is something in the level, you can access just by right click and create a reference, but this only works for when you are working in the level blueprint. So get actor location, and this is 1. Okay, this is right. So here we have a return value, so it's gonna return this type of actor. So here we can access the variables and functions. So we're gonna access like the type. We're not gonna call the function, we're gonna call the variable type. So this is gonna be set type. So they're not gonna we also need to call the function, I think, because here we are not calling. Oh yeah, it's calling the function. So yeah, we only need to set the variable. So let's see, we want to spawn a boss. So we copy, and the boss should be spawned there. Yeah, you have it, boss there. So this is spawning after 5 seconds. So he's spawned there. There you have it. I'm gonna change like 38 point, so maybe I'm gonna change like the size of the, so it's not gonna, so it's not overlapping. I mean, it's overlapping, I don't know why, because we're changing the location. But let's see, now we can change so any type that we want. So we have boss, we can change to enemy 2. So it's gonna spawn, I think, the yellow one. Oh no, the pink one, the pink one. So it's spawning there. I mean, here the problem is like, we should like, I mean, if we put there here, we can also change here the size to 4. So it's gonna, yeah, now it's better. But we're spawning the pink one. We want like the, now the boss. We want to spawn the boss, so we click boss. And it's gonna spawn the red one. There you have it. You have the red one. Now we want the yellow one. It's enemy 1. And there you have it. I don't know why it's like floating. Yeah, I don't know why it's floating. There is like collision there. Probably it's like, it's because he doesn't have, he's not simulating physics, so he's floating. So I think that it should be like, let's see. Yeah, I mean, it needs to be like in that location. I mean, here it says scale 3D. I'm gonna set to boss. Yeah, I mean, now he's overlapping, I don't know why. I mean, these are like collisions problems, but I just see that. I mean, so I think we got our objectives of this tutorial, that was like understanding like what classes are in video games and how they can be used. So I hope you enjoy this tutorial, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.